Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for your Commander-in-Chief here in Abbotsford. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the Abbotsford APD community police, and we're going to get the best in for this community. And we're going to bring the RCMP in. That's going to be done. Today I want to talk to you about something here in Abbotsford. The farmers suffering that Bruce left money for the pump, the negligence by Henry, the city councils that were working all together as Abbotsford First to prop up Ross. You can see Ross standing by himself. But I'm down here behind Walmart. We're in January 26th of 2026 of January. In the coldest time, we're going into February, and the homeless are on the street. Kicked out of the shelter here and left everywhere. So the homeless are between the train track, the CP, and the train track on Gladys Avenue, because Henry dumped rocks there with Ross for the Ron Funk and Diverse in front of the Salvation Army. I got a cowardly police chief that just figures PR work is done by taking pictures with Alex Mitchell and not doing proper stuff for the community, rather than picking up courtesy phone calls and phoning the CP police and saying, listen, we need to move the homeless that are tugging lumber and shelters between the two train tracks before we get a major problem with trains coming off the track or a death. Can't even do a courtesy call. And the homeless been there for months and months being chased around. You don't got to go and brutalize them and throw them out. You got to use common courtesy and remove them properly and give them a designated area. Tell the province and the cowardly mayor that can't do nothing but promote Henry's stuff and what he can cover up can designate an area like I showed you on Valley Road. But that was not going to happen because Henry was going to put the new West Coast was going to come in there, and Pam was working the deal, and Darren Brown showed me. I got Souk Gill promoting, and I warned Souk about taking PR pictures, do what your leader does, Pierre Poilievre, and work with the common person, because Abbotsford's turned the inside out and upside down. Figuring going and taking PR pictures to promote the Abbotsford police when he knows the corruption that it did and covered Henry's attempted murder, the threats of staking out my house on my job site and everything else. We're going to promote this garbage police department and figure that's worth leverage. Every police force can see that it's in trouble, and they can see even the Abbotsford police chief and spokesmen of the police haven't brought Mike Surdak to do a PR and say this is a great building. This will help combat drugs and that, because they're ashamed of what Mike Sur of the Abbotsford Police did. So what am I doing here? This is where Pierre Poilievre's MP should be speaking. Right here. Pierre Poilievre's MP, my friend, that I worked with Abbotsford residents, Souk Gill, should be speaking about this, of what the city of Abbotsford and the mayor did, and what Archway Community Service did, and the homeless have been put on the street, been put in danger down on Gladys Avenue, and the stuff that Archway did, and it's unacceptable by not only by politicians, but by actual residents and then actual human beings, and it should be called out every single day. And I would expect my politician friend, my MP, conservative friend, Souk Gill, to do that. We know Brad Viss won't do it because he's tied to Ed, and Ed's trying to clean with Henry in the back door, so we'll never ask Brad to do it. Brad's the only hope for Ed Fast and Henry Brown, and we need to call it out. But I expect, as your Commander-in-Chief, my cowardly mayor, the cowardly mayor that put the homeless in all this harm, that my police chief would start growing a set and start showing he cares about this community and say, listen, first of all, we chased them from in front of the police building where they were perfectly safe there. And now we kicked them out on the street because it's about me and my check. And I'm telling you about gangs and everything else. And start cleaning and doing actual work and protocol and procedure and say, we need to phone the RCMP and the CP police and get them off of Gladys Avenue and actually target the city of Abbotsford, what caused that harm, and pull the police out of this mess and say, if it wasn't for Ross and the scamming and the garbage on them rocks that humiliate us all around the world and block the homeless from hot meals in front of the Salvation Army, and you need to get that company clean, and this Colin Watts can't. This Colin Watts don't know what to do but go find Mr. Pelican wherever he is with the campaign and whatever he's doing with other people. And I want you to smash your cameras and brutalize them, because that's the only way we're going to save our jobs on our Laverick mortgage. The Abbotsford police have to and must be removed out of this town for the threats on Abbotsford residents. the vicious attack on the Abbotsford homes and our homes going down the mountain, and the city being used to run organized crime. One of the largest criminal rings in Canada is being operated out of the city of Abbotsford, and it needs to be exposed, and it needs the best to put a stop to it. It needs to have the RCMP here so politicians are protected. The attack on Councillor Gill by the task force, and like the RCMP said the other day when they were there, hey Mr. Pelican, the surrounding of the task force and the APD at your house, we would know if you're this big leader into this organized crime ring, we would know and we would take that investigation, and we were not notified, so Henry's using them to stand on you, to get you out of town and shut your mouth. Never gonna happen. Henry tried to end my life, left the scene of the accident, fled, and used Mike Sir to cover. We're going to bring Mike Sir back, and he's going to go where every criminal goes, before the courts and the jury, and we're going to make his man watch him get undressed and ripped apart. That way Mike Sir will be able to say which officers at the top of the police department were carrying them orders to cut a deal with the Crown for Henry Brown and expose everyone that was on the task force, investigators and leading investigators. And that is why I made sure we go after Mike Sir 100%. So to Colin Watts, please, a little courtesy, a little respect, stop hanging with Alex Mitchell, start throwing a set, and call the CP police and say that is an endangerment, we need to stop it. If any accidents happen or anything happens, we would have to look at them homeless being killed by the trains or anything, and go after Colin Watts at the head of the police for a murder and allowing that to happen. When they wanted to inflate the time cards and rip off Abbotsford residents, they could go down there and beat everybody up. But now to use a little common sense and pick up the phone and call the CP police and send them a picture from your phone that this is what the homeless are doing, he can't. Because it ties this into a major problem, so Colin Watts needs to shut his mouth, because then he's got to address that this political scam behind Walmart to kick the homeless out with the mayor puts the mayor, now chief and mayor and anybody you don't call. This is why Surrey's so great. The councillors hold the mayor and the mayor holds the councillors, and that's what you need, and we're going to put it back so there's no more, I'll cut you a deal, you work with me. I'm live. Sukman Gill behind Walmart, and I'd suggest you just get out and you do it traveling and you have a look, because Abbotsford residents are getting sick and tired of it, and so am I. Let me in, I'm going to change, I'm going to be your voice, and then folding and running back and not doing this. This is where Sukman Gill should be speaking, and not in front of the Abbotsford police, and I agree with all residents. I even agree with the NDP and the Liberals on this one, that this is where Sukman Gill should be speaking. Live, Abbotsford, British Columbia.